Okay, now we are going to see how to connect to the device using what the virtual terminal. That's the remote connection. You can see I still have what my console cables connected to these devices. So I'm going to connect two computers to the switch, and I'm going to connect a cable from the switch to the router, and then after after the configurations, then we'll see how to connect remotely to what each device. Now I think I have my laptop one here, so I can do my console one because I'm still using my console here. Enable, so that's Cisco 2. Okay, so show run, so I can see my configurations setup. Now to be able to connect using what the line VTY or using the virtual terminal. Now I'm on a router. Now router's interface can be assigned IP, so you can assign IP to what the router's what interfaces. So for this, I'll just go into one of the interface and then assign IP to it. So which how to be in the configuration, the global configuration mode. Good. So interface, right? So interface, I can bring the interface in full, that's gigabit fast internet, or I can just bring G and then what the interface number. So let's look at that. So this I can bring G gigabit. Okay, you see gigabit fast internet. So if I bring question mark, now it's showing me what the digit I have to bring. I can put here /0/0. So now my prompt changes again. It tells me I'm in what interface. Let me exit. So here I can type a shortcut which is int G/0/0, right? You see the same thing. So you either type it in full, that's interface gigabit fast as it is, or you type it short as it is. Now, for one thing about routers is the interfaces are down. So there's a command you have to run to show what your interfaces, if your interfaces are up or down. So let me go to the enable mode, so that'll show you that command. So show, brief, sure, good. I think my brief, I didn't type it well, so I got an error. So interface brief. Now look at this. For the routers, the interfaces are down. Administratively down means the administrator have to turn it up. Okay, we'll be looking at the switch on is different from this, so to be in this very interface and then turn it up. Okay, so what I have to do here is be in the config node. So int, that's interface G/0. So if I want to turn the interface up, is no shutdown. So you can see my interface is up. So I told you, if you're in the configuration mode or the advanced mode and you want to show a command which is in the enable, you bring what do show IP int brief. So as you can see, status changes what's up. Now protocol down means there's no cable connected, so the moment I connect a cable, it will automatically come up. So that's the only difference. So this shows me that my interface is up. Now I can assign my IP address. Okay, so let me use a class C 192.168.0. Let's say 101. Sorry. So my subnet mask will be 255 because it's a class C 255.255.0. So I've assigned IP to my interface. So from here now I can actually detach my console cable from my device. Mind you, the new configuration I've done, I've not saved them. So if I want to save it in the interface that I can bring do copy run start. So as you can see, I can save it in this very interface. So for the router, I can now detach from it. Let me check my switch if I've assigned IP to that one too. So then I can detach my cables from it. So enable, you see, as usual. So Cisco 1, good. So show run this on the switch. So it's just basically the same command. Now you can see as the initial setups that we went through on the switch, you can see the switch name. Then you can have, I have what secrets, and then I have what password. So for this I didn't run the service password encryption, so we are still seeing password in plain text. So go down to this, yes. So this also we didn't put what password on the console interface because we are going through the initial. You see, it didn't give us what the platform for us to provide what password for the console. So for this I can do that manually. And then this also I have what my password set. You can see this I couldn't set what the exact mode. So you can see the disadvantage of using what the initial configuration setup. So for this, okay, I can set password too because I don't want anybody to just plug in a console cable and they have access to my console interface. You need to provide a password. So for this too, I'll do that. So line console 0, so password console 1, so log in. So I can bring exec time 3, good. So from here I can what exit. So I've set that forward, and here too I can save as usual. Do copy because I'm not in the enable mode or the privilege mode, so I have to be do copy run start. Okay, so I have saved that. Now what I'm left with I have to check if I have actually assigned IP. Now for switch we can assign IP to the interface, because if you bring in, let's say interface question mark, So now you can see I only have what VLAN, okay, gigabit of fast Ethernet and all that. So let me see if I can do that. What I have to do is I can assign IP to the VLAN, okay. So I can do show run, okay. Okay, you can see the interface VLAN. Okay, we did it with the initial configuration. So the IP address is 100. So I gave that one 101. So fine. So now we are good to go. Let me see if the interface is also up. So I have to do show IP int brief. Okay, so the interface too is up and running. So cool. So here I can go ahead and then disconnect my what do you call my console cables. So I can disconnect this and then this as well. Okay, good. So right now let me connect two PCs to the switch. So that will be looking at how to connect the, okay, so this 2 gigabit. Okay, so as you can see I have this. Then now let me connect my PCs, port 1, and then let me connect this as well to port 2. PC here has to be in the same network. Mind you, I was using this, that's 192.168.0.0/24 network. That was what I used because I gave this 100, okay, you can see, and I gave this 101, as you can see, /24. So my PCs, I have to give them IP in that network. So my PCs, when I get to desktop IP config, so static, we'll be looking at DHCP as we go along. So 192.168.0.1. If I press the tab key, generate what? The default subnet mask for me. Cool. So I can do that for the second PC as well. 192.168.0.2. Press the tab key and I'm good to go. So let's see if we can connect to the switch, right, using the remote logon or the virtual terminal. So you can see I have a Telnet and SSH client. When I click here and then I'll going forward Telnet, that's 192.168.0. Let's say 100, right? So you can see I'm able to connect. So I have to provide. Now the password I have to provide will be the password for the virtual terminal. That's the line VTY, which I made a line VTY1. Good. So now I have to bring enable. So now I have to provide what my enable password, which is Cisco 1. Good, on switch. So now I can do show run. So it's able to show all my configurations here. So on PC1, I'm able to connect towards the switch. So let me try that with PC2 and try and connect to the router as well. this is now we'll come down to Telnet and then SSH client. So this is only Telnet. So 192.168.0.101. Mind you, they are all in the same network, so you can see. Likewise, I have to provide a Telnet password or the remote password. Then enable the router. I made a Cisco 2. Good. So show run same. So I'm able to remote connection to these devices using what the virtual terminal. That's the use of what setting the line VTY. Now, mind you, we have for the line VTY interfaces, we have the Telnet, we have SSH. Now, when you are on a LAN, right, that's a local area network, you can use Telnet, no problem. It's safe. Except if someone is on your network and scanning your network for vulnerability, then that person can be able to get access to what your information, because Telnet, when you are using Telnet, your password and the username is in plain text. But when you are using SSH, it has to be what encrypted. You have to create what a username. Okay, let's look at that. Right, so what I'll do is, let me see which okay, so I'll create the SSH on the router, then we'll leave the switch as what Telnet, so that we'll see the difference between the two. Okay, now I have to be in my configuration mode. Now, to configure SSH, I need to create what you call the IP domain first. Then I have to create an crypto key to generate what key and for the encryption between the two machines. Then I have to create a username as well. So username. So username, I'll make it Prince. So I can even add my password. So I'll make it all Prince. So Prince 1. So since I'm done, I have to bring what IP domain name. So here I have to bring name default. So it can be what cisco.com, microsoft.com, google.com, google.net, google.org, whichever domain name you want to use. So I can bring cisco.com because I need an IP domain name. Good. Now I'm done with these two. Now the next thing is crypto. You see, I don't remember the full names, but I use the tab key too. So I can bring the question mark now to remember what I have to bring next. So key. So generate. Then RSA. Now let's look at this. The name for the key will be what? rt1.cisco.com. Okay, now choose the size of the key modulus in the range of 360 to 2480 for your general purpose keys. Depending on the kind of bit you want. Okay, we have from 360 to 1000, so depending on what you provide here. Now, how many bits in the modules do you want to put in there? So me, I like going for 1024. So this is what I'm going to use. I can go for the full number there. That's 2048, but let me maintain 1024. Okay, so half of that. So you can see generating what 1024 bit RSA key will be what non-exponable. Okay, done. Now let's get into the line VTY. So let me show you something here. Line VTY 4. So that is what I did. Now let's look. Now transport, if you remember, I told you we'll be coming to that. Sorry. So transport. Now if you see input, define which protocol to use when connecting to the terminal server, and then output, define which protocol to use for what? Outgoing, that is from the device. So now the input is very necessary. So when you are connecting your PC or your laptop remotely, it's very important to put what? Which one you want to use. So input. So now you can see I have what? All. So by default, all is enabled, right? None means I'm actually turning the default, no protocol. Now I have what? SSH, which is secure, and then I have what? Telnet, which is not secure. So since I want SSH, I'm going to maintain everything to what? SSH. So that means it's only SSH can connect to what? The router. If I try using Telnet, I will not get any connection. So after doing my configuration, the next thing I have to do is save. Mind you, if you don't save, sorry, you see, so I have to ring do because I'm in a different mode. That's the configuration mode, right? So since I have saved that PC1, let me go down to Telnet. Okay, so let me try and Telnet again too. My router, which I made it 101. Let me try and connect. So you can see the current session has been closed. Do not want to establish blah 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 blah. Still, it will not allow me. But let me try and Telnet to what? The switch now. 192.168.0.100, right? So console, oh sorry, that's line VTY1. Sorry, line, okay, line VTY1. Okay, line VTY1. Okay, so I think I was typing it wrongly. So enable, so that's Cisco what? Good. So you can see I'm in the switch. I'm able to connect to the switch. So let me try that with PC2, and let me try and connect using the SSH. You can see SSH client. So I want to connect to the router, which I enable only SSH on it. So 101, that's the IP I gave to the router. So I have to provide a username. So you can see, so I have to provide what? The password. So which is line VTY1. Good. So you can see my banner did came. So now I can put here enable. So Cisco 2. So I'm in show run. So I can run my command. So now this is how to do what? Basic settings when it comes to what? Cisco switches and router. So you can see my line VTY is actually using what? Because I specify what input as what? SSH. I don't think for this, let me do show run. Let me just put here username. So here I'll put here John. So password John. I can still bring the print, but I want us to see the difference between the two. Okay, so IP domain name. So I can do this. Let's say CCNA.com. So enter. So I've done that. So crypto, right? Key. Do you remember? Generate RSA. Good. So here I have to provide my bit, which is 1024. So I'm done with this. So here I can end this by disconnecting. Yes, I want it off. So connect. Let me use SSH to connect to the switch, which we have just enabled. So the username is what? John. So you can see I can be able to connect using what? The two. Okay, Cisco 1. Cisco 1. Good. So you can see I'm able to connect what? The two. Sure. Because for this, run. Okay, for this I did not specify underline VTY which protocol to use, whether Telnet or what? SSH. But by default, both are what? Enable. So this is the simplest form you can connect using what? Remote connection. Or okay, so you can see current has closed, so you have to re-establish your connection. Let me see which connection exactly. Okay, so this you can see, as I waited for long, my session closed, so I have to what? Re-enter the connection again based on the what? Executive time out that I set for the login. So this is how you can set what? A remote connection. That's the virtual terminal. So you can connect other PCs and then connect to it. So as we go along, we can see how to what? Subscribe, so that the moment I release any video, you will get a prompt. Thank you for enjoying my video. See you guys.